Hello and welcome to Nanny Village. My name is Marquis. I'm the founder and the CEO. And a big part of what we do here at Nanny Village is not just match you with an amazing caregiver and nanny, but we really want to give you the best tools and resources available to help you thrive. That is why I am so excited to introduce you to Chelsea Mills. Chelsea is an expert in all things payroll, benefits, and nanny tax. And she also works with HomePay, who is our preferred household payroll partner. We're going to answer all of your frequently asked questions. But first, Chelsea, would you mind just introducing yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Chelsea Mills. I work with HomePay. We are a household payroll and tax provider. So this is all that we do, working with families who are bringing in help in the home. I've been with HomePay for over 8 years. I am the partner relations manager. So my role is to work closely with our nanny agency partners and their clients and nannies to make sure that the educational concept of legal pay is easily available and easily accessible, and also to assist with onboarding if clients decide to use our service to pay their nannies.
What are the top things that all families should keep in mind before they hire a caregiver for their home?
Yeah, so I get a lot of questions about taxes and payroll, if it's part-time versus full-time, if it's a nanny versus a babysitter. So I think there's a lot of maybe confusion or misconceptions about what actually triggers tax liability for household employers. And we look at two tax thresholds that are specific dollar amounts that require a family to report withholdings and earnings for nannies. So if they pay an employee more than $2,400 in a calendar year, that's a Social Security and Medicare threshold. They're required at that point to withhold taxes from the employee's wages and report a matching portion of those taxes to the IRS on the employee's behalf. The other threshold that we look at is unemployment. On a federal level, the $1,000 per quarter threshold is for federal unemployment if they pay any combination of employees that total amount. So if they had, let's say, a couple different nannies or babysitters throughout the quarter that all together total that $1,000, then the family should be paying into unemployment. And that is required so that if an employee loses their job due to no fault of their own, they have those benefits to fall back on while they're finding a new job. Some states have a little bit lower unemployment thresholds, and California actually has a state disability threshold of $750 in a calendar quarter. So I like to bring those thresholds up because I think that there's confusion if I have a part-time nanny that I won't have to do taxes, but really it's how much are you paying this person? That's what triggers your liability as a household employer. So that's the primary one. And then I think there's a lot of confusion about W-2 versus 1099. Is my nanny an independent contractor, or are they really my employee? And what we say to that is most of the time, if not all the time, household employees are going to be W-2 employees. They're going to be an employee of the household. 1099s are for independent contractors, and independent contractors are really running their own business. They are providing their service to the public, so they would have multiple clients at one time. They're directing the work, setting their own schedule. So it really comes down to who's controlling the work, who's setting the schedule. And generally that's the family. The family is letting their employee know, okay, this is when we need your help. This is how we prefer to have things done, or this is where we need some assistance in the home. And so they're really directing that process. And that's where the W-2 versus 1099 conversation comes into play.
How does overtime pay work? Can you speak to that?
So on a federal level, overtime applies to any hours over 40 in a 7-day work week. So for example, our HomePay system runs Saturday to Friday. So we would gauge any overtime hours from Saturday to Friday because Fridays are paydays in our system generally. So that's a federal level. On the state level, California meets that, but also has some daily overtime requirements. So for any personal attendance, which is going to be an employee who's caring for other individuals 80% or more of their work time, they receive overtime for any hours over 9 in a day. And for non-personal attendance, which would be more of a managerial role, those household employees will receive overtime for any hours over 8 in a day. So you want to keep those daily amounts in mind as well as the weekly 40. We help calculate that and our system will automatically help track that as well. If an employee is living in the home and it is considered live-in, meaning they're living or staying at the home for 5 or more days per week, then the weekly amount goes from 40 to 45 hours, but those daily overtime amounts would still apply.
I have to say, Chelsea, you have helped so many of our families. You have helped me so many times. Just, I appreciate you so much, always being available to answer questions. And thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate you. And I look forward to continuing our work together to help families and nannies be the best that they can be together as a partnership. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Happy to help. Any questions, anytime.
Great. Thank you so much, Chelsea.